Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook. Got a doozy submitted in one of the private Facebook groups. So I thought I'd answer this question here via video. Says an HOA snow ice client, snow removal, almost 4 months is saying our 4 months afterwards is saying our plows damaged their speed bumps, and we need to pay the repairs estimated between $5,000 and $6,000. Our winter contract does not say anything about not being liable for the curbs and the speed bump damage. The HOA also let this contractor go sometime in March because they felt that potentially their prices were too expensive. They did, in fact, pay the invoices in full for the contractor, which is a win. What would you do about the speed bumps? Several comments in here. They have no proof. And if they are no longer a client, shouldn't road damage be covered by the city? In fact, most HOA roads, if you're plowing them, are private roads and owned and maintained by the HOA. Reason being, you have to have a contractor go in there. And some other people commented that they are worried about a lawsuit and could leave damaging reviews. So after about 26, 27 years in snow and ice removal in upstate New York, Rochester, New York, to be particular, the third largest snowfall market in the whole United States, averaging about 130 to about 125 inches of snow lakeside. This is near and dear to my heart. So the contractor unknowingly probably should have reached out to a legal entity such as a lawyer to actually have some hold harmless information in there. So my take on this is you've got a bit of a gray area. Technically, you are liable for the damages caused to the road, the speed bumps, and potentially the curbs if it's not in your contract. Now, the contract is ended. They've paid you in full. So I would suggest sitting down and actually having a conversation with the HOA if they're reasonable to see if you can actually meet somewhere in the middle. You are correct. Yes, damaging reviews from not only just the HOA, but all the people in the HOA. So you could have multiple Facebook, Google, Yelp reviews. It could spiral into a really downward, ugly situation for you. Now, hopefully, we do have an insurance coverage, and that will be covered. So maybe a payment forward of $500 or $1,000 as a deductible will cover you. That's probably the road I would go through, and let your insurance company handle it after at least having a conversation. Don't admit any fault or guilt because you could get yourself in trouble right off the bat. But technically, my opinion on this one, and we've been there, is that you are probably on the hook. That's why we have insurance. But the lesson to be learned here is we really need to go out and protect ourselves as contractors and be upfront with our bidding process. So I'm going to show an example of a residential contract that we used in our company. Some of the verbiage was pretty much identical for commercial snow removal. It was actually a little more lengthy. I literally just read this, and I've got to hop on, believe it or not, with my lawyer in 5 or 6 minutes to update some contracts. So I was like, let me answer this in the next 5 or 6 minutes. But if you can't see this here, the area that I highlighted is, well, actually I'm going to read through all of it because it actually, you need to go in, whether it's residential or commercial. Like I said, the commercial contract is a little more lengthy and more detailed. But these are the main things you need in any snow removal contract, in my opinion. The driveway will be plowed when the snow falls and accumulates from the sky on the driveway with a total accumulation of 3 inches in non-obstructed areas. Sounds obvious to us, but we are not plowing under cars. We are not coming back after the cars are moved. Unobstructed areas. Now, in a commercial situation, we need to define, are we coming back to plow the parking lots that have cars in them? What is the time span that we're actually doing this in? And what is the length of time we're willing to wait, if any, for people to remove their cars? Because you could have a 15 to 20-minute cleanup run for some parking spots in an HOA or general parking area that could turn into a 3 to 5 hour ordeal, complete with honking and people running into your truck or each other. So those are things I would recommend in the commercial end that we add into that. In addition, highlighted area. The company, Callahan's Lawn Care, is not responsible and will be held harmless for any previous driveway damage and or any that may occur, since all driveways or pavement conditions are not the same. And we also included inside that contract in the commercial end that due to the fact that we couldn't see the conditions on a nightly basis or daily basis underneath the snow, we were not able to actually monitor some of the conditions throughout the snow event. So if damage happened, we were not taking responsibility of that. Callahan's will also be held harmless for any slip and fall on your property or damages to siding or fences directly next to the plow area all equipment is new and properly maintained to avoid damage. So we've held ourselves harmless. So if we went and got sued, this alleviated us from slip and fall liabilities, any damage to the property. Now, the biggest thing you're going to see with property management companies is they're going to try to force you to sign their contract, which eliminates any of the rights you may have. I'm going to highly recommend at all costs that you do not sign it. And if you do have to sign it, have your lawyer review it and add amendments to it that are attached and signed to it to get you off the hook for some of these things. We got sued for an HOA where a gentleman from a garbage this company slipped and fell on the driveway of one of the homes in the HOA, but we were only responsible for salting the main roadways. So we added an addendum to that particular contract that we were not responsible to any of the non-salted areas for slip and fall liabilities, such as the sidewalks and driveways that we did not maintain, in addition to actually still being held harmless for the main driveways. We will not guarantee an exact time the driveways plowed due to the way the snow may accumulate. You may be locked into some really stringent timelines, but if it starts snowing at 3, 4 in the morning, it doesn't hit the trigger till 6 and everybody rolls out at 6:30, you can't be there on that timeline. Just impossible. So set the cadence and expectations up front. Also not responsible for snow drift, snow plowed by the town trucks on sidewalk or apron. If snow prevents entrance into the driveway or may be damaging the vehicle, it may be plowed out at your request, which we charge an additional fee. In addition, down here at the bottom, I want to bring kind of to this because this is going to happen in your snow market eventually if it hasn't. So in 2014, upstate New York, Buffalo had snow, no joke, literally up to the gutters of the first-story homes. City went into a state of emergency for probably about a week. But we wanted to put a contingency in there. In the event of a snow emergency where a 1-ton truck cannot plow the driveway, loader service is available at an additional charge at market rate, several feet of snow in a 24-hour period, similar to the 2014 snowstorm in Buffalo, New York. That was absolutely paramount, and it did save us because we did have a couple massive storms where it at least bought us some more time. We didn't need to bring in the loader, but if we did, we were able to charge for it legally. So my suggestion here is talk to the HOA, see if they're reasonable. Don't necessarily commit to anything. If you can have a somewhere in the middle agreement that's amicable, that saves you some insurance, great. If not, have your insurance come in, pay for it, but by all means, add these things in your contract. Talk to a lawyer each year, put them on a retainer for a couple $100, $1,000 a year, and have them review this as the laws change. So those are the things, unfortunately, I think you probably are on the hook for this, but that's why we have insurance. But do your due diligence and make sure that we've got these. And if you are forced to sign the HOA contract, have your lawyer review it and add some amendments that are attached to it to hopefully protect you as the contractor and potentially protect your client as well from different slip and fall liabilities. Because if somebody goes down in that HOA, they're not only suing the contractor, but they're suing the HOA and probably whoever owns the unit if they go down in that unit. So by doing this, you can protect yourself, the HOA, and the management group because they're going to get wrapped up into that lawsuit as well. So Callahan's Corners, you ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook.